Heyo, it's me, Harper Savage, and today we're going to be going through my Mermay sketchbook. If you're interested in seeing the processes of how I did all these mermaids, I will leave a link to the playlist up here somewhere and in the description below, because I did upload a video every single day in May. Something else I want to get out of the way is I was having issues with this sketchbook. It was falling apart, so I tried to fix it by putting washi tape on each page to band-aid it for a while, and it did not hold up, so I went back through and I put Scotch packing tape on every single page to try to hold it together, and it wasn't working out. The pages were still pulling apart. Some pages were like taped too tight together, some were too loose. The spine looked atrocious, like all the pages were like not to the end of the spine here. So what I did was I tore all the tape out, went out and got glue, and I glued it all together instead. There is a fly in here, and I cannot control it, and it's making me so mad. It looks a lot better than it did, but unfortunately, because I used packing tape on the pages to try to hold them together, it did a lot of damage to some of my pieces in here, so you're going to see that. This sketchbook is watercolor paper. It did not have 31 pages, so I had to use the front and back cover and also the two end sheets, which is like that paper that isn't the same as the rest of the sketchbook, to make 31 pages happen here. So that's why this mermaid is on the front, because she's actually the first one, which was day one, and the prompt was mirror. She's also done on watercolor paper, but I cut a hole out in the center here, and I colored directly onto the sketchbook with a chrome marker. So this was watercolor and some color pencil. And then once we open the book, we have the prompt list alongside the second day, which was cosmic. Now this one was one of my favorites. I think it still is my favorite. It might be my top favorite out of all of the prompts, but maybe I'll change my mind as we flip through. Oh yeah, this is also watercolor. Again, this is Canson paper taped onto an end sheet of this 5 Below sketchbook. So the Canson paper is slightly better than the rest of the book. Day 3 was hair. I used some color shift watercolors, or they're calling them chameleon or whatever the trend word is now. And I really like how the waves in the water looks for this one. I wanted to focus more on a headpiece and not necessarily just hair, so that's why we have this fancy crown, I guess. Now day 4 is axolotl, and it was actually me drawing an axolotl I had already drawn for Inktober, but as a mermaid. So that's why she's in this interesting position, because the axolotl was also in a similar position that I drew for Inktober. I think it's all right. The colors didn't end up perfectly matching the Inktober one, but that's because I colored that with alcohol markers and this was watercolor, and I didn't have as big of a variety of watercolors as I did alcohol markers. Day 4 was drama, so there is some granulation and sparkles here and there, and it also smudges a whole lot on the other page. The watercolor in general does smudge a little bit on the other page, but not as much as the graphitint watercolors. And as you can see, I was going for like a theatrical stage drama. Day 6 was Sweet Treat, and here we have some rip on the back of the paper. You're gonna see that a lot from the packing tape I originally had on here. I definitely like her. I tried to do like a sugar coat on her tail, but it looks more like a kind of failed attempt at that sequin like coloring technique, but I still like it. And her tail was supposed to look like a gummy worm, if I didn't say that already. Day 7 was Miyazaki. I think day 7 is probably not my best one. I think it's way down there with being the worst one, because I was trying to go for a lot of detail by just making a bunch of layers without putting enough effort into it. I was kind of at a loss when I tried to come up with a concept for this, because I knew I couldn't do as much detail as I thought I should for a YouTube video, so that's why we have this. Also, it's kind of sticky here from the washi tape, not even from the Scotch packing tape, so these pages are sticking together. And he's got a little rip on his face, and then there's a little rip there. That's from the Scotch tape. Day 8 was Atlantis. Now this is a character I've drawn before in Inktober's and Mermay's. She's like a squid mermaid type of deal. And I wanted to do like a portal to Atlantis, because I don't really like drawing buildings and stuff. So I was just trying to make a shadowy thing look like a castle, and her going into the portal to get to Atlantis. I had like Dave the Diver in mind, to have like a portal to get to the mermaid people, not necessarily them just living out in the open where anyone can see them. Day 9 is Cubism. This is a art style. I wasn't a fan of the art style. I also used very cheap watercolors on this day, thinking if I used my cheaper ones, I would keep everything simpler, and I didn't like it. And so I also used color pencils on top of it. As you can see, the texture and stuff. It smudged a lot on this page. You can't tell, like, it's not as bad as it was because the tape actually did rip off a huge chunk when I peeled this off here. But yeah, I don't like the color combo either. I just don't like this shade of purple with red, and I keep doing it for some reason. But that's a personal problem here. Day 10 was lost and found. Unfortunately, this one has a lot of tears on the mermaid side of the sketchbook. Like this strip right here, which is unfortunate because I really did like Lost and Found. It was one that I didn't know what I was doing until I put the pencil to the paper when I was drawing it in the sketchbook. In case you didn't put it together, I did do thumbnail concepts for all of these before Mermay started. I will put it up here if I remember, because I did live stream that. But I thought it would be interesting if I had a mermaid like finding either something floating down to them and they've like found it, or they dropped it on their swim and went back for it, kind of thing. Day 10 is Guard, and this was with the Derwent Graphitint watercolors. This is one of my OCs that I made up in Mermay one year. I've only done Mermay one other time, and I didn't even upload to YouTube at the time. So you can find him on my Instagram if you are curious. I think he's a manta ray. I'm not sure if he's a manta ray or stingray, but I think it's manta ray. Guard, and it looks like he's like dodging something or whatever. Day 12 is Redraw. It is a past mermaid I had drawn for Inktober, and Inktober's prompt was Roast, and I think it was 2019 when I drew it. I do like her by herself, but next to the original, I feel like the original is a little bit better. I feel like it's kind of like the original is the TV series version, and then this one's the movie version. Go watch that video if you want to see the original I'm talking about here. But I do like it. I improved on the cup a lot, and I feel like the rest is kind of okay. Like, I don't think I improved anything else but really the cup. Day 13 is Cabaret. I think her face is not my favorite. Like, I think I drew her features too big for the shape of face I gave her. Like, if I had rounded her out a little bit more, it might have been fine. Also, she looks a little more gothic than Cabaret, just because I didn't want to draw individual lines around every single pearl I wanted to put in, and I also made all the pearls chrome instead of white. So that kind of added to the more gothic look. And when I was doing the video, I accidentally colored in her gloves her skin tone instead of the purple color. So I kind of just rolled with it to make him like more of a transparency mesh color, and I added some more to her corset down here. Now, when I was painting this, I had in mind that I wanted her to be like pink and turquoise or teal or mint colored, and I had no idea what other color I was going to use for her clothes, and that's how I landed on purple. And I already stated before, I don't like this shade of purple with red. And what did I shade her pink features with? Red. So we're back at the purple and red combo I don't like again. Day 14 is Brave. I have an androgynous non-binary mermaid either breaking into or breaking out of a net here. So either they're saving someone or other fishes, or they got too close to a boat and messed up. This is one of my top favorite ones, and it's mostly because of the color scheme. I just really like those colors together. And I also like how hard I worked for the foreshortening perspective I went with here. Day 15 is Peach. I think she's really cute. I wish I had done the background a different color though, because it's too close to her like mermaid feature colors. And I wish I had a bit of a steadier hand when I was drawing these white outlines around the peaches, because they're supposed to look like sparkly stickers. Now, day 16 is Beach Goth. I actually made the comment in the video that I thought that Peach and Beach Goth could be related, because I just think it's interesting to have a like night and day concept like that. And I made their eyes a similar color too, so they could be related. But I do like his color combo here, and this one also has the tape line there. So, oh, and this was done with the Derwent Graphitint and my regular watercolors. I'll probably point out when I've used a different medium than just my regular watercolor set. Day 17 was eccentric. This one suffers from the tape line there, and she's sparkly and pastel, and I was going for like rich with weird clothes kind of look. Day 18 is Abracadabra. This one has like a significant rip right there. Up there as one of my favorites. I really liked the process of this one, and I'm just really proud of those hands. They don't look exactly alike, but they're enough alike, and that's the important part, right? Day 19 is Bioluminescent. As you can see, I do have stickers on some pages, and I have like doodles and stuff. The stickers was what I wanted to do for every single page. Like, I wanted to collage and do mixed media on every single like left hand page, but I could not do that with the time restraint and me having to fix this sketchbook 5,000 times. And we also have a bunch of rips on this one too, unfortunately. Day 20 is Clown. I did a blue clownfish, kind of doing a mid-air handstand. It's funny because she's not actually doing a handstand, but also trying to do a handstand. And in that video, I start to say something and I get cut off. I can't even remember what I was cut off by. But I was trying to say she's giving off Inosuke vibes, like that one time in the District episode where he was just on his elbows trying to detect where the demon was. Okay, anyways, that's Demon Slayer stuff. If you don't know, then it's fine. Day 21. This was one of the pages that actually did not stick to the glue. So this one has tape on it. Like, still has tape on it, rather. This is Aquarium. I was trying to draw a continuation of my thumbnail that I used for all Mermay, but of Nock and Peanut. Nock is my older sister. Peanut is our dog. And I thought it'd be fun to just have all four of us as mer people. And Peanut is actually a seahorse. And in case you didn't know, Chi is a catfish. So I used paint markers and it exploded. And that's why she has these weird scales on her, because it was a huge pile. And I had to spread it out everywhere. Day 22 was Psychedelic. I used my neon watercolors, and I don't know what happened here. I can't quite remember what happened, why there's an explosion over here. I don't know if I was just wiping off my paintbrush or if it was a paint marker, because I did use neon paint markers on the tail fin here, so I'm sure that was it. I'm sure it exploded too, because I'm having such great luck with them lately. I can't tell you enough. Day 23 was Stitch. Instead of doing, you know, fan art or anything cute, I went the more morbid route and did like a Frankenstein's mermaid. Now this suffers from a big old tear from the tape. 24 is Watercolor. I had a couple people comment on how they did like the background, but at the time I did not like the background. I was trying to do a water looking ripple stuff on top of the dark background I had painted, and I just went too far with the thinner lines. I wish I had stopped where I only did the thick lines, but it is what it is. Day 25 is Tsunami. It's one of the few ones I tried to scrapbook, mixed media, whatever you want to call it, just collage, and I decided to do more of like a mermaid elemental representing water in a storm instead of actually drawing a real tsunami, because I just wasn't feeling that kind of concept that day. Day 26 is Memory. I thought it would be interesting to have a camera be themed after a mermaid and obviously have like a Polaroid poking out with an actual mermaid, so I wouldn't feel like I was cheating or anything. But I really like the camera like design, and I wish it was a real thing. I mean, it might be. I don't know. 27 is Oasis. And with this particular one, it was attached to an accordion unfolding thing that this sketchbook for whatever reason had. So it was technically 3 pages attached in one place, and that was here. And I could not for the life of me get this one out of the sketchbook for some reason. Like, it was the only page that would stubborn enough to stay in. So I went to it with a craft knife, and I missed a little bit here. So there's a cut right here in the page. But anyways, it's her in like a hot spring of some kind. I don't know how she got there, but she there. Now, here's one of the pages that was attached to this one. That the next, like this page and the next page are going to be technically shorter just because they were attached to the other page. Day 28 was Gemini, and I just did, you know, twin mermaids in some kind of face situation. Day 29 was Wicked, and a lot of people really like this one. Unfortunately, she does suffer from the tape line. I do like this one too. It is a, what is it, a Japanese dragon eel, I think I based her off of. And day 30 is Exoskeleton, and this is taped onto the end sheet here. And I went for a lobster. I've been told it looks more like a shrimp, but you know, it's a blue lobster, whatever. I like the textures I got going through this. The last prompt was Serenity, and I decided to redo the mermaid from Cosmic, but in like we're seeing her from a different angle. And this is Arteza watercolor paper that's 100% cotton, so the colors worked much nicer on here. I just wanted to throw that out there. This one that I taped onto an end sheet is also a Canson watercolor paper. So what are my final thoughts and stuff on Mermay 2025? I think the prompt list was much better than any other year. I always have an issue with Mermay's prompt list, which is why I only have ever done it one other time. The sketchbook has been a nightmare for me at the end. I also had a lot of other things going on in May, so it was not really a fun month for me, but I don't really feel like it reflected in the challenge, but it was stressful trying to get the videos out and edited every single day. I was days ahead at any given point. There was not a time where I was like, oh my god, I need to record this and edit this and put it out today. You know, like, it was just stressful because I wanted to be more ahead than I was. I think the sketchbook being such a low quality did affect my ability to want to work on it sometimes. In the end, I really just feel like the Miyazaki and the aquarium ones were like the worst out of all of them. And then I really only felt like a few of them were my favorites, like Cosmic was another example. And I think the other ones were all right. Like, I don't think they're bad. Now, do I recommend this challenge to other people? I wouldn't say I wouldn't recommend it, but I would say be prepared. They don't always give you the prompt list ahead of time for this specific challenge. And you might get bored of drawing mermaids for 31 days because I felt like there's only so many positions and poses they can be in that I was having a hard time making them all different. Would I do this again? I personally don't know. I won't know until I see next year's prompt list, but for right this minute, this very second, I'm thinking no. I'm doing too many challenges this year. I'm doing Inktober 52, I've done Funguary, now I've done Mermay, and I do plan on doing Inktober, like the regular Inktober. And to be honest, it's a lot. And unfortunately, the Inktobers weren't doing good all Mermay. Don't know what that's about. Maybe people are just more a fan of Mermay than they are of Inktober 52. It's probably the case. If you did like my Mermay videos, I do recommend checking out my Inktober 52 playlist, just because the video format and editing is in a similar way. If you liked how I did all of Mermay, you're gonna like Inktober 52. But that is gonna be it from me. If you guys are interested in Inktober 52, you can tap the thumbnail here. If you want to catch up on anything you missed, you can tap the thumbnail here. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to do all the cool YouTube things of commenting, liking, subscribing, and turning on that notification bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye!